Hey guys, ILLene Vick here for Teaching About Coloring with ILLene Vick. It is Friday, March 26th at 7 p.m. and I am live. Yay! Alright, so let me get a few announcements for you here as we go. March 31st, of course, is Ruth Sanderson, and you have to go into her group in order to see her presentation, and I highly recommend it. Next thing, April 1st, Jillian Wilson will be here as an artist, and we'll be coloring along with her book and talking to her and just having tons of fun with that. Hi Julie, good to see you. And also, Jeff Haney will be coming back again to finish our side-by-side coloring. What a hoot. We had so much fun with that. Oh my gosh, we had fun. So he can't wait to come back and we'll finish up that piece. Okay, what else? I think that's it for now. And then whatever surprise I cook up for you guys, that's what we'll be doing. All right, so let me go ahead and switch you around. There we go. Hey, Melissa. Glad to see you're here. How's my sound level? Okay. So I've got something new that I want to show you guys tonight. I just want to do a sound check and make sure I'm okay. That I'm very clear. Is it very clear? Okay, good. Hello, Pearl. Hello, Julie. Again, good to see ya. Allie Lou Palmer Bunn, welcome. Welcome to our group. So glad you dropped in to say hello. We have people that come in and say hello. We have people that watch. I love you all. Glad to see everybody. And Allie, I know that you're new to the group. I don't know if you've been watching before you decided to pop in and say hello, but don't be shy about speaking up at the room. Hi, Maddie. Oh, you've been here before. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Okay. Good to see everybody. All right. So as I mentioned in announcements, Ruth will be quirky bling. Oh yeah. Love it. So just to repeat announcements really quickly. Ruth Sanderson is coming in. Michelle, good to see ya. Ruth Sanderson is coming live 31st. I misspoke, not in. She won't be in here. Join her group and she'll be doing the Fox's Journey book. And that was the book that she was inspired to re-release because of this group. I'm so proud of you guys. I really am. that we can have influence like that. She loved our visit, or her visit here. We'll have to have her pop in again sometime. And then on the 1st, Jillian Wilson will be here. So, yeah. And then whatever other surprises I happen to come up with, that's what we'll be doing. Oh, my camera is not right. Hold on. Let me see if I can change the view. There we go. Okay, I hope I didn't make anybody dizzy. Okay. So tonight, I'm going to be doing a piece out of Enchanted Fairies, Creative Haven. But the twist on this is a neat book. I really like it. I've shown you the pages. But the twist on this is, you were trying to see my work area. Oh, yeah, actually it's not too bad, really. I don't know, maybe one of these days I'll do a little tour of it. We'll see. Okay. All right. I don't know what that is. Okay, so here's the twist, because you guys know I love to do a little tutorial and teach you guys stuff, is, this is Enchanted Fairies. Okay. Yeah, he's spinning, you guys. I didn't know it would do that, actually. All right. So I picked up some Ohuhu acrylic paint markers, metallic. Zoom in. Zoom in. All right, let me work on that. Yes, last night was a blast. And Jeff will be back. Oh yeah, that was my other announcement. Jeff will be back, and we're going to finish up. Zoom in. There we go. Okay. Zoom out. Actually, Maddie, I have scheduled Jeff for, let's see. Oh, let me look here. Tuesday, April 6th. And I will be announcing that in a formal announcement. Oh yeah, you can't paint when you got that headache. Okay, so I'm going to unbox these. Like I said, I didn't practice with them before coming on live. So we'll just play around with that and see what comes out of it. Okay. Oh, listen guys, you know, Jeff called me up afterwards on FaceTime, and he was telling me that he absolutely had a wonderful time. So that was great. Okay. Let me put the sharp thing away before I stick it in me. Okay, so apparently there is a way to change the tip. You just pull out the tip, you turn it over and you put it back in. Okay. Oh, Amanda, are you leaving already? Amanda, can you stay with us? Okay, so that's the directions on this. So let me pick a pretty color. Well, they're all pretty colors. Oh, I know. It's wonderful to see when they start something new, and Jeff was just like a little kid. Okay, now I don't know if you guys can hear this, but there's a little metal ball in there or whatever they put in there. So they're just like the Posca pen with the white. Okay. Oh, England. Okay. Now, there's no color on this tip at all. So yeah, it's like 3 in the morning for you or 2 in the morning. So right now the tip is very clear and clean. We love our UK people. Okay, now see how that blue is starting to come down on the tip because I'm pumping it up and down. There we go. Oh, cool. Zoom in, zoom in. All right, so you guys need to see this shine. There you go. You see it? So there's that. Oh, that is so cool. And you can make really slight lines if you want. You just got to get used to the touch. Ooh, I think I like these already. Zoom out, zoom out. So that's pretty cool. Okay. Now, what my question is, oh, I gotta go stink up my studio. Hold on. Oh, Allie, you got them. Good. Do you have the Ohuhu brand? All right. No, but you have metallic markers and glitter markers. Cool. Yeah, I mean, that question's neither here nor there. I was just wondering if you specifically had the Ohuhus. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to experiment with this, with these. And for those of you that are coming in a little late, these are Ohuhu metallic markers that I just bought. And I'm going to go ahead and play around with them. And I'm unboxing them on camera. So let's see what we can do with these little babies. Oh, you're not, Allie's not out of Amazon jail yet. Okay. Sandra, hello, good to see you. Oh, Canada. Zoom in. All right, so I'm going to play here. Da-da-da. Yeah, that's cool. Allie Lou Palmer Bunn. Okay, so your point accuracy is pretty good. Well, I spray them with Krylon, of course, and then I add my little doodads. Lila, you're funning us. Good to see ya. Okay, so what, did you do that so that you could post more often in Facebook? Zoom out, zoom out. So I put my pieces in a notebook and I put them in the 3-ring binder. Isla is Allie is Quirky Bling. And so I did my back-to-back in my sheet protectors that I told you about that were extra heavy. No, I don't give them away. Sorry for the sheen on here. Let's get rid of that. So I've got them all in these notebooks. So whatever will fit in the 8.5 by 11, I put them in there. Yeah, no, I don't make things with them. I just put them in my notebook. Okay. So let me play with this a little more. Now the paint comes out pretty promptly. Zoom in. Zoom in. So when you're coloring with this, you need to be prompt with it because you don't want to waste a lot of the stuff, glopping out. Hi, Mary. And of course, these things will thickly cover up your lines. Okay. And if anybody has any questions while I'm doing this, have at it. And as with anything else, you'll get used to where your tip is. Okay, so let me do this. Oh, okay, Allie. Do me a favor and post them in the group, won't ya? And will you also do me another favor and send me a direct message, DM, with the link to Amazon with them? What brand are they? Okay, now I'm not going to do this whole border here. I just want you to see this. Zoom out. So everybody see how cool and shiny that looks. Okay, let me put that lid tip back on. No, no bleed through. And normally I put a piece of paper in the back. I forgot to do that. Zeyer, Z-E-Y-E-R. Okay. Yeah, if you'll post that link, Allie. Okay. And they dry PDQ, so no problem from that standpoint. Okay. Zoom out. Okay. Let me go back, Rhonda, and see. Rhonda, do me a favor and ask your question again. I'm sorry I missed it. Okay. Yeah, and if you'll throw in that link, Allie, too, that would be great. Okay. Zoom in. Zoom in. Yeah, I have the metallic gel pens, and I agree with Allie. Oh, you usually get gel glitter pens are markers better. Yeah, from what I'm seeing at the moment, I mean, it's, you know, again, it's just personal preference. Okay, and I'm going to see what I can do. You know, I like to try and blend stuff. A little difficult to blend, but that's to be expected. And this is where you're going to have to get real used to learning how to make a thin line with these little puppies when you want to get in teeny tiny spots. You know, Kristen, that would probably be a Jeff Haney question. Is it just because of where you're located that they won't ship to you? Okay, and again, that's drying very quickly. Zoom out. Okay, so let's play with some pencil and these markers. This happens to be a Faber-Castell. Here, let me do this. Let me take a second. Yeah, shipping aerosols. Okay. Let me text Jeff real quick and ask him that question. Okay, I just sent that. Okay, so I'm going now with the pencil here. Okay. Now, you guys know how I'm always telling you to tint your areas first, right? And it's so important when you're doing clothing like this because it allows you now to play with the different tones. Oh, you're welcome, Kristen. We'll figure this out. I think there's a product though called Gelatos. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong on that. Gelatos that you can use. It's a liquid, and you um, put it on your paper, and then use a spatula type thing to go ahead and spread that on there. And Kristen, what I want you to do too is I want you to post that question in the group as well. I don't want to tell you wrong because I'm able to get the Krylon. Gesso, that's it. Thank you. Gesso. Thanks, guys. I'm pretty sure that's it. Okay, let me look. Okay, so here it is, Kristen. Okay, you've used Gesso, and here's the clear. Hi, Stephanie. Clear Gesso for oil painting. So does that answer your question, sweetie? Okay. Zaire metallic markers. Thank you, Allie. And these are the ones that have the narrower points, right, than what I have? Okay, so because I came in and tinted, meaning that I laid down my basic color, now I can go ahead and, oh good, you got Jillian's egg book. So because I tinted first, now I can go back and start going in darker where I want to color. And that is so important, guys, that you give yourself an out to come in with your different shades. Okay, well, thank you, Stephanie. Okay, so let's look at something here. Allie, will you post those as well, please? Since I've started using these now. Okay. So notice now how I've gone ahead and I've started my shading, and by no means have I finished this because I still have to blend it. But I'm going to go ahead and pull a Jeff Haney, and we're going to look at the color that is opposite on the color wheel, which is our red. And I'm going to go ahead and pop in a little bit of that color for the shadow. Very, very lightly. And blend it. So I thought I would go ahead and reinforce that concept from last night. Okay. And notice that I'm going ahead and putting the green also over the red to mute it down. And then I'm going through and I am blending now my green with the rest of the green that I've got on the dress. So by the time we're done, we're going to have some really great highlights right here. Okay? Zoom out. Okay. Now, what I want to play with the metallics now is I've got a nice light green here. Let me go ahead and prime that. Now, even though I have the thicker point, which is this more rounded point, I'm going to go ahead and Rhonda, I'll answer that question in a moment, or if someone else would please. Is I'm going to go ahead and put a little metallic on this dress. I use a blender pencil, the Prismacolor Blender pencil. I use a white Prismacolor pencil. Rhonda, I've used my finger to blend. I've used makeup applicators, depending on what I'm using. Okay, so what I'm doing and experimenting with, zoom in. If you watch, Rhonda, my videos, especially like last night, because I'm constantly blending, there's a combination. It just depends on the situation. But I do use my Prismacolor Blender pencil a lot. Do you know what that is, Rhonda? That's this here, the colorless blender. And you clean it off each time, and then you go ahead and you blend with it. So make sure that that answer makes sense to you. Okay, so what I'm doing now is I am using the edge here with the metallic to give it that nice shiny look. Oh yeah, you absolutely, Rhonda, need to get yourself a set of the Prismacolor blender pencils. Did that answer your question? This blender pencil is absolutely critical to everything that you do. And then the other things I mentioned are ancillary to that. Okay. Okay, well, make sure I answered your question. If I didn't, then tell me where I didn't, and I'll be glad to make sure I do. Don't ever, ever go away from this room with an unanswered question. Okay. I mean, I have like 6 extra packages of blender pencil that I use. Zoom in. Okay, so in this case, very lightly, little teeny tiny circles here. Go ahead and darken my shaded areas. Or my folds is what I meant. And remember, you're going to have a darker area underneath the little lace here. Oh, good. I'm glad to hear that your shading is improving. Okay. Oh, and you can blend with white pencils as well. Now we've got some popcorn on here, meaning the color didn't go all the way into the paper. I'm going to use my white pencil here, and that's going to soften this. I could have blended it with my blender pencil, but I decided that I wanted to go ahead and use my white. And notice, too, I'm going to go ahead and use it here. To go ahead and highlight my pieces on the dress. Now, this set of pencils, for some reason, crumbles a lot. I don't know why. You know, the Prismacolor has had problems with their quality. So I'm just going to go ahead and brush that away. Don't worry about it. All right. So now I'm going to activate my turquoise metallic. There we go. Now, when you activate these little puppies, just do it just to the point that that color starts to come out. All right. Hi, Katie. And then if you need to go over your white area again with your pencil, that's fine. That's what makes your fabric coloring look very soft. Now I'm using a bunch of mediums here. I'm going to plop over, actually these happen to be tan mint markers. Yeah, and what Julie is saying, Rhonda, is you want to clean off your blender pencil. You can clean it off. I clean it off on paper, like she recommended. Zoom out. And remember, as you go over marker 2 or 3 times, that's where you're going to get your depths. Okay? Okay, Cheryl, I'm glad you could make it. I promised you I'd let you know when I was working out of this book again. Well, Rhonda, that's, why we're here as a group. Zoom in. My group is very, very giving. You can get questions answered in real time. And if I miss the question, someone else will pop in and answer. That's what we do here. We share. Okay. Okay. So given that I'm using a bunch of different methods, I'm going to go ahead and break out my new eyeshadows that I bought. And these are specifically for skin tone. Let me see how this puppy opens up. Oh, okay. All right, so I'm just going to take off this protective cover. I'll probably save it if I can. Hey, Dawn. Zoom out. So I got some metallic markers that I'm playing with. That's what I'm working on this fairy. Zoom out. Okay. Oh, Rhonda, that's great. Now, again, all this material dries very quickly. So I'm going to go ahead and pick out a skin tone. Who just left your house, Dawn? Is this somebody that we know? Was it Rhonda? It was Rhonda? I was going to say it wasn't Jeff. Ronnie, yeah. How neat. How neat is that? Yeah, not Rhonda, but Ronnie, excuse me. I guess I'll have to forgive her for not being in here tonight then. Okay, so I'm taking my sponge tip applicator, which is the bomb for applying stuff like this. And I'm applying my base color. Her daughter's boyfriend came to help your husband. How cool. Oh, that's great. I'm sure you guys had a lot of fun together. Zoom in. So does everybody see how beautifully now this makeup and eyeshadow makes for creating your skin? And just be sure that you get all the way to your edges. Now, when you apply your eyeshadow too, is you want to make sure no streaks. Take your time. And if anybody has any questions about eyeshadow in your colorings, you can now see how great it works out well. And notice on the fingers, by using the tip of the sponge tip applicator, I can get right down to the fingers without going off the edge too much. Zoom out. Now, it looks pretty wonky right now because you've got the skin here with no balancing color around it. So it's going to look a little odd. But trust me, it'll make sense. Yeah, Lila's messing with us. Zoom in. Now, everybody always goes nuts about trying to color skin. Not an issue. Now, this is just the base color, of course. We're going to do our highlighting in a little bit and our shadowing. Okay. And I went ahead and I was actually able to save my little cover here. And then that way that'll preserve this. Okay. Now, anything that you go over with, then you take your eraser and just touch it up. Eyeshadow erases absolutely beautifully. Anybody have any questions about this? I know, Ronnie. Allie's messing with us, I'm telling you. Okay. Now, one other area I'm going to clean out as well are the eyes. And the lips. There we go. So did you have a good time at Dawn's? So remember, the trick to doing your skin is you're going to go ahead and put my shadow You told Dawn she's lucky you didn't set your hair in rollers. Now, when you highlight around your skin, like I'm doing right now, or shadow if you want to call it that, that's where you're getting your slightly darker. No, Michelle, this is Enchanted Fairies by Creative Haven. So when you do your skin, you're going to do your darkest around the very outside, and then you're going to blend it into the face. You put a little shadow on the nose, zoom in, this eraser is an electric eraser by AFMAT, A as in apple, F as in Frank, M as in Mary, A, apple, T, Tom. AFMAT electric eraser. I love it. It was gifted to the group. Now you can see where my brown looks a little popcorny. That means that white is showing through, or that lighter color is showing through. So I'll go ahead and blend that in a moment. Right now I just want to get my edges done. Yeah, Ronnie, isn't that pencil sharpener wonderful? The Linkyo, Linkyo. So I'm going to put a little shadow around the hair. Now, this is where my blender pencil is going to come in. So, Rhonda, I'm very, very lightly, after I cleaned off the tip, as I'm using my blender pencil, it's got wax, the wax in it that goes into pencils, but it just doesn't have any pigment in it. And it's used to soften and blend the colors. Now, if you go into announcements, guys, I have a list of core stuff that I use. Check out that list. And then I'm going to go ahead and use my little Tombow eraser, which is my little micro eraser, and I'm just going to lighten up some of that skin in the middle because that brown came in a little further than what I wanted. So notice how I'm erasing that away a little bit to lighten up that forehead. And while I'm at it, I'm going to erase underneath the eyebrow right now until I decide what I do for colors. There we go. Okay, Rhonda, you have a great evening, and would you please share this to your timeline? And notice I'm using my eraser on the top of the chest because that's where you're going to see a lighter shade. And all I'm doing, guys, is just erasing out some of this color that got a little further than we needed it to be. Now, zoom out, zoom out. Everybody see the difference now between the top here and then these arms and the legs, which I haven't done yet. There we go. All right. Give me 1 second. I'm going to take some water here. That's right. Anybody that's watching in the balcony and haven't dropped into the room yet, we'd love you just to say hello. Okay. So I'm going to stay in this view now so you guys can see. Allie took her teeth out. Hello, Nancy. Okay. Now what I want you to watch is how this depth now starts showing up in the skin, because I'm adding that brown to the outside, the darker shade. Yeah, but it's the brown because of the initial skin color I chose, and the initial skin color was done with my eyeshadow. Now you can see how wonky this looks. I don't have my colors blended in yet. And guys, this is probably one of the reasons why sometimes you have problems with your coloring projects, because if you haven't blended in your colors properly, it's going to look weird. So you absolutely need to look at how your blending is. And I'm now seeing post after post after post where you guys aren't chucking your pieces. And that's fantastic. Okay. So I'm going to use my manual eraser here down that center. No chucking allowed. That's right. All right, everybody see how cool this is looking? And if your highlighting is a little bit wonky, then fix it. Okay. Oh, Pearl, the eraser is absolutely wonderful. I love it. It comes with 2 eraser sizes. I've always been using the bigger, but since I use them so much, all I'm going to have left over is the smaller ones, which is fine. I'll use them up, but I love it. I put those black streaks on there so I could find it easily, but you want the AFMAT, A-F-M-A-T. Wonderful. Okay, so let me go ahead and start doing this second arm for you. And I want you to watch the progress of how this shading is going. Isn't it wonderful, Melissa? And Melissa, by the way, so sorry about your sister-in-law. I see where you said when services are going to be held. Love you, sweetie. Thank you for letting us know. Okay. Will the real Lila please stand up? And then I'm just doing a light blend. Going around in little circles through the whole thing. Look how natural that looks. Isn't that cool? Yeah, Melissa, she is. From what I understand was going on. How's your brother taking it? Pretty rough, I'm sure. Okay. Now, unlike Jeff, I like to clean up my areas if I splooch outside of it. I just like to have that neatly clean. Yeah, Allie lost her sister. Oh, your husband's sister. I got you. I got you. How's your husband taking it? Now, remember that I always tell you guys also to color right on top of that line, right? People don't walk around in everyday life with black lines around them. And again, by doing that, that gives you a blending point to start blending in from the outside. Her aura is black, Allie. Everybody see how pretty our little lady's looking? So I can call you Lila. It's messing me up. It really is messing me up. uh, Good grief, Lila. I answer to most everything. Okay, most anything. Now, I'll say this again, guys. You've heard me say that everything goes through an ugly phase. And this is where a number of you have given up. And I keep telling you, don't give up, don't give up, don't give up, don't tear your pieces up, don't throw them away. And if Lila can fix holes in her piece and make it work and none of us would have known, then you guys can fix your pieces as well. Now, on this particular piece, you might look at this skin and say, boy, that's a little dark. Well, that's because we don't have any of the balancing colors around it, right? And this is where you envisioning what your piece is going to look like is going to be important, and where Jeff told you is to quit judging your work. And as you color more and more, you'll start to have enough of a vision of your work that you'll know that something doesn't necessarily look bad. So when you come into the room from now on, Lila, does that mean it's going to read Allie? Okay. Zoom out. Okay. Zoom out. Isn't that pretty? Somewhere in there I did say turn your pencil all the time and tint. Okay. Zoom in. Zoom in. Okay, now on our flower, zoom in. Zoom in. We lost the definition of the flower because of the nib on the metallic paint applicator. So I'm going to take my black pen and I'm going to go ahead and outline that flower again. And if you ever have a project that you've put down metallic coloring like that, and this has happened, you can definitely fix it. Everybody see that? And if you want, you can even go ahead and add a little extra of your own. Isn't that cool? Zoom out. Zoom out. So anywhere that you have metallic and you've accidentally gone over the top of something, you can fix it. And that's also good for pencil as well. Put a metallic gold center in the flower. Yeah, I'll probably go with the bling after the fact. Okay. Now, on the rest of this dress, same thing. If you want to add a little bit to it, you can. Just depends what you want in there. And notice that I'm wiping the tip of my pen off as I do this on my paper towel because that paint and stuff gets up into it. Okay. Alrighty. So now for the sake of playing with my metallics, let's see. Jeff's piece is driving you crazy? How come? Hi, Melba. Ooh, that pink is a lot darker than what I thought it would be. Okay. Oh, okay, Ellie. Or Lila. Yeah. Melba, we're playing with my new acrylic paint markers. They're metallics. So what I want to play with and practice, zoom in, is how much control I have with these little puppies. Because I do have the thicker point. Now you need to be a little creative here as to wherever the artist has the area jutting out, is go ahead and do that, go a little distance with that. And I am just barely touching the piece. So like anything else, it's an acquired skill. Melba, these are Ohuhu's acrylic paint markers. Lila is telling me that there are markers out there that have a lot finer points, the metallics. Okay. Now, at this point, I need to make a decision here. Either I want that wing to be highlighted in black, or I want to go ahead and cover it up. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and I'm going to cover up the black. Just to give it a different look. Almost like a painted effect. And this is where I'm going to use my discretion about maybe making the wing a little longer. Everybody see how I'm doing that? See if I can highlight on them. With what? Pencil, you mean? Oops. Yeah, I'll do that. What do you want me to experiment with? Pencil? Okay, so basically what I'm doing, guys, is I'm going right over that black line. pencil. Okay. Yeah, I'll be glad to do that, Melba. Now, again, guys, this is where you need to not be afraid of your piece and just try something different. And you can see that I'm exaggerating the lines a little bit to allow for the thickness of the marker. I mean, for that matter, I could have just done this line and then gone ahead and put a different color on here. Everybody see how I'm doing that? Oh, that's good, Ronnie. Melba, I can't wait until we can get back together and have you paint a rose for us. I'm so excited about that. You'll love your alcohol markers. Now, you know they're a lot different, Ronnie, than the water-based, right? I've shown you differences. Okay, now on these tips here, you want them to flow and be delicate and not chunky. So you want to end them as in much of a point as you can. And again, I unboxed these on camera. I didn't have a chance to play with them before I showed them to you. So I thought that would be cool that we would do this together. Okay. See how I've got that line right here? Oh, that's pretty. So this is a whole different direction by encouraging you to obliterate the line completely. Zoom out. Zoom out. We love surprises. Okay. I'm going to let that dry a little longer, Melba, before I even try pencil on it. Now, what I would also encourage you to do, which is what I'm doing right now, is you see how I carried that over onto the border? So now this is going to take us in a whole new dimension area. Okay, everybody see how I'm extending that wing out now? Out to the border. Yeah, that may be it, Ronnie, that you can't smear that because of the drying out. Zoom out. Okay, Melba, I'm going to let that dry a little more before I do anything. So I'm going to go ahead and play with this side now. Zoom in. I am having way too much fun with this, guys. And the trick to this is using the edge of the marker just enough that you can get points with them. And they don't look blocky as you extend this out. Otherwise, you defeat the purpose. Okay. And again, guys, I'm just outlining right now. And I could see where you just outline something like this and then put in pencil in between that. But I've already committed to the marker. And I'm also angling my marker so that the least amount of material comes out, because as I'm filling in, I just don't want, a gob of it to come out. So I want to save as much as I can. And the more that I lay the marker flat towards the paper, the thinner my line gets. So there's a little hint for you there as well. See that on that top there? Okay. So there's a little tip for you, is angle your marker as flat as possible to minimize the amount that comes out, to save, it saves your paint. And it allows you to make very thinner lines, which is cool. Yeah, some markers you can't take the back end off, because the markers I have, when you take the cap off, it's the other end of the chisel point. Okay, zoom out, zoom out. Look at that. Pretty. Okay, Melba, you still with me? Let me grab some water. Okay, so there's your sheen. All right, so Melba wants me to put some color on top of that. Did the Crayola representative have any comments about it, or did they just take your comment? Okay, let me find Melba. All right. Zoom in. Zoom in. So I'm going to take a brown. Zoom in. Sorry for bumping the camera. Yeah, I do not like the Crayolas colors of the world at all. Way too waxy and hard to work with. Yeah, I can tip them with the gold. Let me go ahead and do this brown tinting since I already started it, Melba. Yeah, you can put pencil on top. It defeats the purpose, of course, but I would say that you can discreetly color on this and get a little shadow on there. And I would have to try different pencil brands on top of this. Zoom out. Zoom out. Zoom out. Interesting. So what I did at Melba's request is I went ahead to see how pencil would do on top of that. And you guys can see that it gives her a nice subtle shade. So yeah, there's the effect, Mel, but what do you think? You can see the difference now between the two sides. Now, I don't have a white in these, but I do have a yellow. Yeah, it does give it dimension. Now, here's some gold. Let me see what a little gold does. Zoom in. Zoom in. Okay, so I'll go ahead and put a little bit of gold on that. Oh yeah, look at the gold on there. And you don't need much at all. Zoom out. Do I have metallic pencils? Yes. I don't think I would do the metallic pencils though on top of the metallic initial layer that I put down. No, it's not a dumb question. I just never invested heavily in metallic pencils. Yeah, I mean, I'll grab them. I don't have, like I said, I don't have too many. Okay, so now what I'm doing, guys, is I'm Derwent Metallics. Okay. So what I'm doing is I'm going ahead and putting on these brown tips. I'm rolling my pencil, of course. And that is adding a really neat dimension to these wings. And then what I'm doing now is I'm going to add just a little touch of the gold to the wings. Enchanted Fairies by Creative Haven. Zoom out. Okay. So now I'm going to play with the next area. Still going to work my metallics. Mail was not delayed. No, well, we did have some thunderstorms go through. We've got storms moving through tonight and tomorrow. But no, nothing went through that would delay our mail, my mail. Okay. So now I'm going to go ahead, zoom in, and add my next layer. And notice now that I am following and creating my own jagged lines. And I'm also basically doing it in one continuous movement. And you can see now how that is fitting nicely into that previous color, okay? So even if you go outside of the lines a little bit, that's perfectly okay. And in fact, I would encourage it. And notice now how I'm continuing that pattern. And look how cool that looks. So my goal right now is to create 100% zoom in, 100% metallic, fairy wing, and notice that if I want to, I just go ahead and I extend my line a little further, the jagged line. See, you see how I just did that? And again, what you want to do is try not to go over the same section because you're, using up your metallic ink. Now, see how I'm running that a little bit further right there? And look how cool that looks now. Zoom out. Okay, so I'm going to let those dry a little bit. Oh, exactly. That they did go over the other color very smoothly. I sure did. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and do this area in blue. And you'll see why in a moment. And if you have any streak marks, just take care of it. Okay. And again, I promise you, even though this has the thicker nib, you will definitely get used to where your point is, and that will help you in your coloring. Now, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to this other piece here and do that in the blue as well. But what I want you to watch is this. When I bring it up, I'm going to give it that jagged look. And the reason that I'm doing that is because this is jagged over here. And then we have a rounded top area here. I like that balance. I like that symmetrical look. And notice I just went around that little flower without coloring on top of it at all. Zoom in. Zoom in. And the really neat thing is that the paint in here fills in very nicely. So even if you miss a teeny tiny spot, you can fill it in. Just takes 2 seconds. Okay. Now we've got 2 little wings down here. And notice how I was able to go around that hair piece without coloring it in. I'm wondering if Ohuhu makes a finer point metallic paint marker. There we go. Zoom out. Zoom out. Now, the neat thing is, because I went over the lines with this stuff, it's made this whole piece just so different now. It looks like a painted piece. And again, that dries very, very quickly. Okay. So let's go ahead now and finish this last area. And again, as you'll notice and was brought up, these metallics go over each other beautifully. So that's allowing me to go up into my previous wing portion and make my jagged lines. So what I would do when you get these is get a scrap piece of paper and practice making your different line widths with this stuff. Alright, see how I'm making this jagged line now? And making that look really cool? Okay. And again, don't have any hesitations about running your jagged line up into your previous color, because that's what's making it look really cool. By the way, guys, how's my volume and clarity? Everybody see how I'm running those together now? I really hope that you guys are really enjoying this demonstration. Okay, good. I've got my mic now like eye level. I'm not even talking into it. So I'm trying to get that adjusted. Hi, Wanda. All right, now notice how I'm going to jagged end this again into the previous color, right? Zoom in. And this is where I want the artistic you to come out, that you're not just blindly following what's on the page, right? Oh, pretty. Zoom out. I'm going to grab a little water here. Do you remember me, Wanda? Don't anybody tell her. Okay. So what do you guys think so far of all this? metallic glitter brush set. Ugh. So now Allie has to be careful not to get in Facebook jail. Zoom out. What do you think, guys? Now your blending options are extremely limited. I mean, you just can't. So there's where you need to be careful. Good night, Melissa. And then what I'm doing is on the edge, as I use the color, and I'll go back with my other ones, of course, is I'll go ahead and do my little swirlies here. I just got them in today. I bought them for the group, and I unpackaged them and then went right to using them before testing them out. I thought that would be fun. And how I got them, Amazon delivery. So what do you guys think of the way I did these? I did. I just wanted something new to play with. That's right. So I obliterated all the lines. I extended the wings over the edges here to give that a dimensional effect. I showed you how to use the eyeshadow to do the skin. Yep, shiny when I tip it. There you go. And Melba asked me to use pencil over the top of the outside color, which I did. And that brown made it look really cool. You still hanging in with us, Melba? Metallic, not glitter. Just using metallic. So Melba, what do you think of the way that I, in effect, tattered the leaves? No, the camera doesn't do it justice. Zoom in. Zoom in. Zoom out. So what I'll do is I'll use something very, very soft for the flower. And I wanted to show you a dual color on the dress, and I wanted to show you how to fix that little rose there when your metallic paints went over your lines. All right, let me do one more thing here. So the metallics were just basically for the wings. I put a little metallic on the dress. And now what I want to do is go ahead and counterbalance that with pencil. So on the flower, and then I'll wind up with that because it's 1/4 2. And guys, if you would, yeah, I use pencil over the top. We did that on the tips, Wanda. I put brown pencil over the top, and then I went back, and Melba suggested a little gold on the tips, on the very tips. So yeah. Yeah, the gouache would be great. So what I want to do now is balance this metallic with the flatness of the pencil on the flower. You know me, guys. I just want to show you all these little ideas. So hang out with me until I show you what I want to do with these petals. Yeah, Lila just busted me. I have a deal with Amazon. Oh my. Okay, let me sharpen. So tell me, guys, on a scale from 1 to 10, how loud is my broadcast? Okay, so what I'm doing now is I'm going through and I'm laying down my base pink color. And then you'll see what else I'm going to do with it. Okay, 7, 8, okay. Like I said, I've got the mouthpiece now just about eye level instead of near my mouth. Not too bad, not too, okay, good. Okay. So notice now how I'm picking up now. What I wanted to know, Rita, was how loud I sounded on a scale from 1 to 10. Actually, what I would like my regulars to start doing for me is when I'm broadcasting, especially when I start, is just throw a number out at me as to how the volume's coming across. And that way we don't have to worry about getting into discussion about it. And that way I can look at that and make sure everything's okay. Does that sound good to everybody? Okay. Now, the other thing that I'm going to do while I'm thinking about it, yeah, and you don't need to make a big deal out of it. Just, you know, during when a guest comes in and stuff like that, if something happens, just cue me with numbers. I would really appreciate that. Okay, so what I'm going to do also, I'm just going to do a couple of these because I want you to see it, is I'm going to take the pink and I'm also going to put that in the outside here. So I'm mixing the metallic with the pencil. And that'll look really cool out here. And again, I'm just going to do a few of these so you can see what I'm thinking. And remember, I went through and I extended the length of the fairy wings to go over this. So that's looking really cool. When I'm on split screen, my voice gets loud and the guest's quiet. Okay. I'll see what I can do about that. I don't know why that does that, but I'm working on it. Okay, everybody see now how this is looking really neat because I'm putting the flat with the metallic. Hello, Kim. Okay. Now, I'm going to take some purple now. It was so funny. Jeff was like a kid in a candy shop. Oh, when you have your wireless earbuds in, you don't have that issue where I get super loud and the guest is too soft? Oh, okay. That helps me. All right. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to take my purple and that's going to start picking up my other colors. The darkness of the wings makes the picture look out of balance. Uh-huh. Okay, I'm getting there. Yeah, Jeff sounded really good though in the room. Yeah, maybe not use the headset with a guest. Okay. So Ronnie said that she had her wireless earbuds in last night, first time, and she didn't have any issues with one being louder than the other. Interesting. Okay, now keeping in mind that I haven't blended this yet, my plans for the flower are the pink and the purple. Jillian was low for you. Okay. Jillian was really cool, wasn't she? She's a hoot. She's kind of like Jeff. You get her talking on something and boom, it's off to the races. She's a sweetie. Well, Melba, I work hard for you guys and try to bring in interesting people. Hannah Lynn will be coming in after she moves. And you guys, you ain't seen nothing yet. You wait until these artists start coming in that Jillian's got. You guys will be exposed to really neat stuff that nobody else has not necessarily seen. Yeah, Jeff is hysterical. Yeah, Jeff is. Yeah. And like I said, guys, Dawn has been so supportive of this group, a lot behind the scenes that you're not aware of. Jeff is like a kid at Christmas. Yeah. Yeah, I had to kind of reel him in the other night, last night. Jeff, back to the subject at hand. And I think I told you he had such a good time, he called me on FaceTime and talked about it. He just, yeah. Okay, so you guys get the idea. And I'm going to be blending this and playing around with it. And, you know, we got some more colors going. But the main thing is, guys, I wanted to show you the metallics. I wanted to show you what happens when you color over lines to make it look more like a painting type thing. I colored her dress, the two colors, to look good on this. So I hope this gives you some ideas. And thank you for all your input, those of you that have metallics. And Melba, thank you for asking me to try pencil over the top of it. I was thinking of doing that. I just wasn't going to do it on camera, but what the hey, you know? If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. This is a test piece. Well, Allie, thank you so much. All right, guys, I am going to call it an evening. Joyous, joyous coloring, everybody. I'm glad you had a lot of fun tonight. Just wanted to play around with this and see what would come out of it. I know you do, Allie. Thank you. I absolutely, Lila, excuse me. Oh, yeah. Okay, guys. This is ILLene Vick for Teaching Adult Coloring with ILLene Vick. Guys, joyous, joyous coloring. Thank you so much for stopping by. Please share this to your timelines. And I will be here, of course, tomorrow night, same time, same place. Take care. Love you all. Okay, bye.